Hello. Welcome, everybody. I'm so glad to see you all here. What a lovely turnout. I was asked to do a talk about something to do with ethics and vaginas, being the director of the Vagina Museum. I didn't realize this was a comedy show, so I'm going to rewrite this on the fly, see how many jokes I can fit in. It's going to be great. Also, vaginas, low-hanging fruit, easy to grab. So, yes, I am the founder of what is the world's first bricks and mortar museum about the gynecological anatomy. The vagina, the vulva, the clitoris, the whole kit and caboodle. And it's been really great so far. We've opened our first exhibition in November. It's called, you'll like this, Muff Busters, Vagina Myths and How to Fight Them. I got like one pun fan. Love it. But what's really, so like most people are really supportive, but we do get a little bit of backlash, and people who say that, you know, it's a bit inappropriate. And I thought I would tell you about those people since we are going to wrestle some ethical dilemmas. For example, something that people really hate is when we send them press releases. So these are real tweets by real journalists who are saying that there is not a shred of decency and propriety left in the world. Oh no, I know. I mean, of all the things that they could complain about, Vagina Museums is really what's got them going. Also, okay, you're gonna cry at this one and laugh, I hope, I don't know. This is a real email I got sent about somebody who heard about this museum, in inverted commas, and we are sick. We are absolutely sick. What a tragedy has befallen the once great country of England, as progressive policies, political correctness, virtue signaling SJWs, and unfettered third world immigration has almost destroyed it. What is it? I mean, I am a second-generation immigrant, but like maybe from the second world, like, yes, I know, it's sad. This person apparently prays for Brexit, but they also pray for the survival of England, and I'm not sure how those two connect. I have even, and this is, I'm showing you like the worst of the worst, I have even been listed on this website. Please don't search it, because I don't want them for the clicks. Judas Watch. This is a real website, and I have a listing on it. Judas Watch describes itself as a strictly fact-based database that documents anti-white and anti-Western activities. And apparently the Vagina Museum is that? I'm not sure. The only thing I'm really sad about, to be honest, is the fact that they classed me as low influence. Like, come on, guys. I don't know. It's not just me, you know, people think vaginas are inappropriate all over the world, all the time. A very famous case of this was in 2012. I don't know if anyone recognizes this, but this is an art piece. This woman is called Megumi Igarashi, or her artist name is Roku Denishiko. She's a Japanese artist, and she made a vulva canoe. She 3D scanned her vulva and turned it into a canoe, and then she used it to go down the rivers in Japan. For which she was promptly arrested. She was genuinely arrested by the Japanese authorities. It took her 2 years to fight the case of indecency. The funny thing is this incident actually led her to marrying one of the Water Boys, and she now lives in Dublin, if anybody knows the Water Boys, because he read about this case in the paper, and he looked at a picture of this woman, and he was like, I'm going to marry her. Genuinely. They invited the Tokyo police to their wedding. But I think they declined. Yes. And yeah, vulvas have been massively stigmatized, you know, from the sleeping nude, got to cover it up. And people often ask me, you know, where did this stigma come from? A lot of people think it's got to do with that guy, Black Jeebus. I did him as the most historically accurate image I could find. They talk about the Adam and Eve and covering of their shame. But the thing is that Christianity, especially medieval Christianity, maybe not modern Christianity so much, was actually very pro-vulva. For example, that's Jesus. You see that one on the right? That is Jesus. You see this thing on the left? What do you think that is? It's not a vulva, it is the holy wound. It's the cut he gets here. And there was examples of these all over their books, and people used to pay reverence to them by kissing it and rubbing it. Yes, very. Oh, yes, I love Jesus, married to Jesus. They even put vulvas on their churches. I don't know if anyone recognized these, but these are Sheila Negigs. In a period of medieval church building, they would put these figures on their churches, holding open their vulvas. And no one really knows why, which is really interesting. They say it's to deflect bad spirits. I don't know. And they even wore these. These are badges. So if you were a medieval Christian, one of the things you would like to do is you would go on pilgrimages. You would go to places of importance. You would go to Jerusalem. And now here's the logic, right, is at the end of a pilgrimage, you get forgiven of all your sins. So what's the logical thing to do on the way? Do all the sinning you can. So they would wear these, people think, to signify that they were up for some sinning. That's why she's wearing a crown, astride a horse, she's got a longbow, she's living her best life. And this is true for all over the world, that vulvas were used in this really positive way. This idea that vulvas are disgusting and shameful is not something that's universal. This, for example, is a door lintel from a Maori household. It would sit above a door to a chieftain's house, and you see this person in the middle. They've got this fierce face, and between their legs, another fierce face. And that vulva would cleanse you of the taboo, so all the bad things, and make you knower, so it would make you spiritually clean to enter that person's house. And even in the Middle East, in the oldest societies we have, places like Sumeria, Babylon, there was this goddess called Ishtar. What I really love about these particular ones is you see the one on the left, right? So they were drawing her vulva, and look at the care into her vulva. And then they stepped back and they looked, oh shit, we forgot to do the boobs. And then just very crudely oh God, do the boobs. And the reason why I love Ishtar so much is she is the epitome of wonderful vulvariness. There is a story about how she was once walking around the steppe, and she she leaned against the apple tree, and it really goes like this. The woman looked down, and her vulva was wondrous to behold. And at the sight of her wondrous vulva, the young woman Ishtar applauded herself. And I just love that image of this woman 8,000 years ago just being like... And then the next part of the story is she goes around to all the people she knows, and she's like, have you seen this? She is my hero. I think that the thing that's really scary about vulvas, I think the thing that people find most scary and why it's so shamed, is because vulvas are powerful. This is an extremely controversial photograph. They had, there was a maternity ward that had this on their walls, and they covered up the bit of the child being born, and so you could just see her happy face, which is a weird thing to do in a maternity ward. That's happening all around you. But it's just they couldn't get over the idea of someone having so much power over their body, so much control. And so that's kind of why I'm making a Vagina Museum. The museum started in the most millennial way you could ever imagine, in that I tweeted about it. It literally started with a tweet when I discovered there is a penis museum in Iceland. There's no vagina equivalent anywhere in the world. So I just decided to make one, basically. And we did pop-ups. This is us at a music festival. And now we're opening in Camden Market. We have, like I said, our first exhibition. It is on until the end of March, so you should come visit. It's completely free to enter. I'll skip over a few of the slides because I shared some of the feedback that we have. So I'll just go to the last. Yeah, I know, look, this one. What the fuck? It's one of my favorite ones. A doctor who never got taught the stuff that we teach in their own university. Really makes you despair. I know. But people ask us, why do we have the Vagina Museum? And I could answer in 100 different ways, but I will answer with this one. Somebody wrote us, "Hi, I'm 11, and I came here today with my auntie. I feel like you never really get taught about things like this at school or anywhere, really. Girl power!" And thank you. And I mean, that's why we have the Vagina Museum, is because people are searching for a place where we can return to a time in which vulvas were applauded. Thank you very much.